Today we're going to talk about how to change other people. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how you can change other people. So we've had some people ask questions or give us some topics of things that they would like talked about on our YouTube channel. Well, this was one, it was a little bit of a modification, but they wanted to know, why is it that people don't change until they're ready to change? And how can you make a person change? So I'm going to give you a simple answer to that. And then we're going to talk about what we really can do. Because again, principle-based living is all about talking about principles or truths or laws that if you know and understand, and then you follow them or live by them in your life, you'll find your life being much happier. You will feel much more in control and much more peace in your life. Wayne Dyer used to say that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And if you look at the principle of control, one of the foundational principles, we know that the only thing that you have control over is your conscious thoughts, your emotions, and your behavior. So is it possible then for you to make another person change? No, it's impossible. None of us can make another person change. The only person we can change is ourselves. So let's look at that quote again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So do you have control over your thoughts and the way you look at things? Yes, you do. But you don't have control over others. But if you change the way that you see a person, then guess what? That person will change. If you see a person that you think is angry and mean and disrespectful, and then you start to see the loving, kind part of him or her, then that person will change. But it changes up here in your mindset and in what you look for and in what you see. So if you want the simple way of changing another person, focus on yourself, change your perception of that person, change what you look at and what you see, and notice and see what happens in that person. See if they don't change and become a different person. Now there's another way that we can influence and help people to change, and that is through influence. So we don't control others, but we do influence them. And we influence them by our own behavior and our interactions with them. And this we know that people change for two reasons, either to obtain pleasure or to avoid pain. So they're in a state that they don't like being in, there's something that they want more, or they're in a place of pain or discomfort and they want to get out of that place. The best way to influence people to change is to live our lives in such a way that they want to be more like us, they want to know what we know, and as a result, they want to begin to behave, to think, to talk, and to do things differently. The other way of helping people to change is to make sure that we allow them to experience the consequences of their choices. Whenever we rescue them or enable, and if you'd like to know what enable means, you can find videos that we've done on enabling here on our YouTube channel. But enabling is doing anything that prevents that person from experiencing the consequences of their choices. And as long as I don't have to experience the consequences of my choices, then there's nothing for me to learn and there's no reason for me to change. So the best two ways that we can influence a person to change, one is by changing our thoughts of how we see them and what we look for in that person. And then the other is to look at what are we doing to influence them. So setting boundaries in our own lives, so refusing to do things that would allow them to continue in their own behavior, or setting boundaries and not doing things for them that maybe they should be responsible for doing for themselves. Doing those two things is going to create an environment or an influence on them where possibly they're going to want something more than they have and then be motivated to change, or they'll be in a situation where they don't like the situation that they're in and they want to change that situation, so they will do something to change themselves. And that's the answer why people don't change until they're ready to, is because we like being in that comfort zone. And change is difficult. It's a challenge. It takes effort, and we would rather not put forth that effort. And so we need to do what we can to help put a person in a situation where they're uncomfortable so that they now want to make changes in their life. Thanks for watching today. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to know more about who we are and what we do, if you want to become involved in our organization, visit our YouTube channel, visit our website at principlebasedliving.com. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, make sure and follow me here.